Can I steal you for a minute?
Steal you for a minute?
Can I steal you for a minute?
Welcome to Can I Steal You for a Minute, the reality dating recap podcast. My name is Indra Raj.
And I'm Mary Bianco.
And we're back for another week. And it feels like it's kind of like a chiller week.
I feel calm. I feel like these past couple of weeks I've just been racing through TV. And this week I was like, okay, I saw my shows.
Yes.
We did our memes.
When Love Island backed off, it really helped.
Yeah.
Because that's just so much content all the time.
I think also knowing we only have one episode of Love is Blind coming this week, it's like,
yes,
we don't have to gear up to watch three. It's not 3 hours anymore. It's really 3 hours and 40 minutes with how long these episodes are. And we'll get into it, but it's dragging for me.
And the start of the season was 6 episodes. That was
insane.
Too much. Insane. But here we are. We're here.
We made it.
Talking about it. Definitely happened last year during the season that came around this time. The memes are taking off.
They are.
So it's been fun to see just how many people are reacting. And then I think Mary and I just keep talking about how upsetting / shocking it is to see. So the post that we've done that has gotten the most interaction, I guess you could say.
Not the most likes, but the most comments.
Right. And the most views. Now you can see how much a post has been viewed, and it has been viewed almost 1 million times, which is crazy.
Insane.
That's crazy to me. But in any case, the first slide is about, it's like, Sarah, you can, it's okay to be upset that someone doesn't vote and says they don't have political beliefs. That's okay.
It's calling voting and lack of knowledge about social issues a red flag.
Right.
Didn't think that would be a controversial opinion. It is.
It has caught the attention of the conservative bro media or bro side of our country. And it started off with a few snarky comments from dudes about women that were derogatory, including ones directly aimed at us.
Yeah.
Saying that the memes weren't funny because we're women.
Yeah.
Which is are we really making comments like this in 2025?
Yeah. Carlos Danger, Florida man. I see you, pal.
Yeah. Fuck you, dude. And I was like, okay, maybe that'll be it. And then somehow it's just caught on to these accounts of people who are going into the comments and rage spiraling about how it's totally okay to be racist, to have no moral compass, to not vote. There was one comment that was like, well, none of these issues affect him, so why should he care? And I was like, are you fucking kidding me?
Ding, 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 ding. Or saying, oh, well, it's only all political because you make it that way. I didn't make it that way. I don't want to think about politics every day of my life.
No.
The fucking right made every single thing that we need to live political.
Yes.
So I'm not going to apologize for calling it out. And it's honestly making me depressed for our country, just to see the sheer stupidity going on in these comments and it's proving our point. They think that they're owning us by being it's not a red flag for me and it's a red flag to care. It's you're proving my fucking point.
Yes, exactly.
And it just is so disheartening. As funny as it is, it's also very disheartening to see people being oh, just 2 cat ladies making these comments and blah blah. It's first of all, the cat ladies are happier than you. You seem miserable. And also this is a meme account.
Right.
You are, and these are the same people who want to complain about social justice warriors tapping away and virtue signaling. And yeah, Sarah's behavior was virtue signaling. I used a picture of her as a meme to draw traction. It worked.
Right.
But you two are also social justice warrioring just for the other side.
Right. It's the same fucking thing.
It's the same thing. And actually, you guys won't let it fucking die. We've stopped responding because this dialogue is nonsensical. We cannot have a conversation with you. And they're not going to listen to the podcast because
of course not. Of course
95% of comments didn't even scroll to the next slide. They're only talking about the first thing they saw. And it's just like, what idiots.
Yeah, it's pretty crazy. So if you want to be upset like we are, you can go and look at it. There's a bunch of other, funny memes and other things though too related to the season. And there's so many things to comment on.
There's also people like agreeing with us on the post. Yeah. So go send them some love, just like really putting up the good fight that we don't have time for anymore, because like it's just too much and the comments get buried and it's just like it's a lot.
Right. It's definitely a lot. So I guess that brings us to this recent drop of episodes, which I don't know. The pacing of the season is so weird because I'm like simultaneously so bored and like, oh my God, how are we already at the weddings? Like,
well, we've spent no time with the couples that are getting married except for Sarah and Ben, who no one wants to get married. So it's like we'll get like 25 minutes of Lauren and Dave fighting and then 3 minutes of Monica and Joey. It's like,
yeah. And like none of Taylor and Daniel, like because there's just no drama there. There's just none.
There's
and
no
I mean,
drama.
I guess we saw their parents for a while. That was kind of an extended.
Yeah, that was cute.
Period.
But yeah, we wasted so much time on couples that didn't work, and like the payoff from us spending so much time in the pods to hear about this Mason, Madison, Meg, Alex love quadrangle for it to just nothing happen at that party. It's like, why did we waste our time?
The party was such a disappointment.
Yeah.
It was such a disappointment that like halfway through it, I was like, wait, Patrick, is this the party that's supposed to be like the big moment?
Yes.
And he was like, yeah, this is it. And I was like, wait, what?
It's over.
It's over. Like there was not really any drama. Like Meg and Mason have gamed the system.
Yeah.
And have found a way to date each other anyway without having to get married.
They did not want to date each other until they saw pictures of each other. Love is Blind as an experiment is fucking dead. Like
it's totally dead. And like, so Dave, after he breaks up with Lauren, makes a comment in his little like ITM outside of whatever weird movie theater they were at or whatever. And he was like, love may be blind, but marriage isn't. And I was like, yeah, that's actually
he kind of ate with that one.
Thinking, yeah. We'll give you that one, Dave.
Yeah, I should have given you credit. You kind of ate with that one, Dave. Because I think that's what we said is that it's less like can you fall in love with someone behind a wall. It's more like can you get married after a month. Like that's like
right.
Really, the full concept of the experiment, and like the truth is. No, most times.
And so, okay, let's talk through all this. I guess let's start with Dave and Lauren.
Yeah.
Because so we see more of their saga, and then in these 3 episodes, we actually do see them finally break up.
I hope for good.
I mean, yeah, because at this party, Dave is drunk as fuck and has somehow seen the light and is trying to tell Lauren that he was so wrong and whatever. But he was so wasted, first of all. Like, you cannot take any of that too seriously.
No.
And I think Lauren was like, the confounding thing about all of this is like, I do not know what Lauren likes about Dave. Like, he's so unfun around her. And like, I don't think he smiled like at all when they were together.
Only when talking about the night out he had with his friends.
Right.
And like
when he's like, it was so hard to be out until 3 a.m.
Yeah. And the boys like showed up.
Oh my God. And I mean, what a reveal also from Molly that there was a girl flirting with him at the bar. I mean, of course. We all expected it.
It's not that surprising at all. Dave was trying to get Lauren to break up with him the whole time. She kept saying, I feel like we can get there. I feel like we can get married. Lauren, I just really hope and pray that this is like a real lesson for you to just really value yourself. This was really, really hard to watch. I can't imagine how hard it was for her to watch.
Oh my God. I mean, it's just so like clear as day how much he's trying to get out of this situation.
Yeah.
And like, I can give her some grace like for being in the situation and like, you know, she said she fell in love with him and I believe her. So it is hard to like see what's what when you're in a situation like that. But it's like, I mean, we open up these episodes with him not responding to texts. Like, it seems like maybe he had spent a couple nights in their apartment together at this point.
Yeah.
Like, we find out that they did have sex.
Mm-hmm.
So that's sort of interesting. But he doesn't come home. It's the day after. Like, it's literally, it seems like it's in the afternoon because he was out so late and, like, it took so long for him to get there.
3 p.m.
Yeah, he's so unapologetic.
No.
Like, he's just like, yeah, this is what happened. I was out. And she's clearly like, I'm really upset.
Yeah.
Like, I have been really upset. But she's also, like, not getting upset with him because I think she's trying to still see if it can work.
I know.
Which is so hard to watch.
She's, like, making herself so malleable for him. Like, she'll just do whatever he wants, and he doesn't want anything from her. Like,
no.
Once he had sex with her, he was kind of like, mission accomplished, I'm done. And then I think
he definitely had sex with her knowing that he was not going to marry her, which is like,
for sure.
You know, that's I don't really have a problem with that, but just knowing where Lauren was at with it all, that may have not been a great move.
Yeah, I have a problem when you're on a show and you're engaged and you don't want to marry her and then you have sex with her.
Yes, exactly. Okay, so I do have a problem with it. I guess I don't have a problem with people having sex otherwise.
No.
But I do have a problem with this situation.
Like, if say they broke up, they hadn't had sex before they broke up, they're both drunk at the party, he pulls together this apology, they have sex, and then she still stays broken up with him. I get that, but like,
of course,
having sex with her knowing you're going to break up with her is just kind of like what he was, because then it's like it becomes about the other guy. Like, it's like he had to do it because the other guy did it. Like, it's not even about Lauren, it's about this weird competition he made up with this weird ass dude. And
all of this felt like, especially at this like party at that sledding place, and like Dave wasted at the end of the night and all that. It felt like very juvenile to me. Mm-hmm. And maybe it's like because I'm approaching my 39th birthday and I'm just like, aren't these people a little too old to be this messy still? Like, it feels off.
We're like, I'm like the same age as most of them.
Right. Yeah.
And it feels like, and I always say like New York boys have Peter Pan syndrome. This is like way worse. Like, this is like,
these are fucking bros who just want to party
and haven't lived. Like, they have no experience outside of. One of my friends, Taylor, is has family from the Minneapolis area, and she's like, the season is boring because Minneapolis can be passive aggressive, and everybody like doesn't want to have like real conflict, so they just kind of like skirt around the issue and then hurt each other's feelings skirting around the issue. And I think that that's what's happening, is there's no like fire, there's just people getting sad and not saying anything to each other.
Well, and you see it so clearly in these women, like especially Lauren and especially Sarah.
Yeah.
The conversation that Sarah had with Ben at that little igloo place when they were having dinner, when she brings up the service that she listened to that was about LGBTQ issues and basically just totally was not what she wanted to hear.
Yeah.
Watching that scene, I actually was like just taking pictures of everything her and Ben said, because like this whole conversation is one huge red flag. Like, she kept being like, well, this is kind of upsetting, but also it's okay for you to be like this. Like, every time she said something that was like standing ground a little bit, she would then like qualify it with, oh, but it's okay.
Right.
That you're being this way, or that I'm accepting this, or whatever, when she's like clearly not okay with it.
No, she's like, I mean, the last episode leaves on a cliffhanger where it's Sarah is asked if she says I do. I think she's going to say no.
I think so too.
Because she couldn't have the conversation with him beforehand to break up with him. And it's fine if she ends up saying no. Like, honestly, that's great. I don't care. But there were so many people pointing her in the right direction that it became even more frustrating. Like, her sister's partner, I don't think is from Minneapolis. Like, the way she spoke felt very East Coast to me. I really was like...
Also, like, I fully thought this woman was her sister.
Oh, no, the blonde is her sister.
I was like, oh, she's her sister. Like, I don't know. And then I was like, wait, what?
Yeah.
Like, the other woman, like, what's happening? I was I was like, why is the sister's girlfriend at the dress fitting?
Oh.
Like, where's sister? Could she not make it?
So you saw two identical looking blonde women and they were like, they're not sisters. That's her girlfriend.
Well, I was like, they look similar, but like maybe, but she like sort of kind of looks like a brunette version of the other woman too. Like I could see them all being sisters.
Everyone on this show looks the same, so it's like
continuation.
But her point of being like, you know, when Sarah was like, yeah, I'm looking for a church that's going to accept people. And she's like, I'm tired of this word acceptance. Like,
I loved it.
I don't want to feel like we have to go somewhere where they're merely accepting us or they're like, I just want it to be that we're just part of the community and we all put up with each other equally because we're all human beings. And Sarah was like, yeah, totally. Yeah. And it's like Sarah in that moment is scrambling to like appease both Ben and her sister and her sister-in-law. And she can't do it. Because
she can't.
She will always be jumping through hoops to make her sister and her sister, or I'm just calling her sister-in-law, their partners.
Right. Yeah.
Just for ease. Will always be trying to fit them into Ben's like acceptance of the world.
Right.
And I think it's especially interesting because Ben left a church and sought this one out.
Right.
And they have these views. It's not like he was born into this. He like found this guy, really liked this pastor.
On YouTube, no doubt.
And then Sarah found very easily a sermon where he was being problematic.
What you said about the people pleasing is so true. And her sister calls it out in this. By the way, the lead up to the altar for Sarah and Ben is over 30 minutes long.
It was insane.
It was like, I was at the gym, so like I'm always like counting the minutes when I'm at the gym. And so I like looked at it and I was like, wait, there's 30 minutes left? Like, oh, so they're gonna show us this whole thing and then another one. But no, it was the whole lead up. And I think it's because this couple is the biggest talking point right now. And it's just like, going back to the acceptance thing, like I just want everyone listening to like imagine what it would be like to walk into a place where someone thinks they're being a great person by saying, we accept you. Like, just for being who you are.
Yeah.
Like, that should not be happening in 2025 for anyone. And it happens all the time.
Yeah.
And the language that was used here, like, I was so glad that she called that out.
Me too.
Because as I was listening to it, I was like, this is fucked up. Like, oh, our church is accepting of you and accepting of this type of person. And it's like, fuck that. Like, as she said, like, I always have to accept everyone around me.
Yep.
Like, good on you that you're accepting of me too.
Yeah.
Like, come on, everybody. And I think that really gets to the essence of like a lot of what we're dancing around here this season when it comes to like the political conversation. It shouldn't be a question.
No.
Really. These things that are coming up in a couple of the couples, like we'll get to Devin and Virginia, but they just shouldn't be coming up.
No. And, you know, Virginia says this. She's like, you know, I never thought that I would have to think about whether or not abortive rights would be available in this country.
Right.
But now I do. And I never thought that we'd have to debate gay marriage in our lifetime, but now we do. And
right.
I think that that's where I'm getting like really frustrated. And this is something we've talked about with all the Chris Collen shows, or Collen or whatever, the guy that produces these shows.
Kalen? Is it Kalen?
I have no idea.
We hate him.
I hate him.
So we don't even want to know how to say his name.
I don't even care. The conservative undertones that run through these shows that are so popular have to be damaging. Like, and
they have to be.
This season's theme of like, come on, just get along with each other. Like, we said it last week and I'll say it again. Like, the only people begging to still get along are people who are actively voting against other people's rights to exist. And so, no, I'm not interested in getting along, because there's no getting along if you think, oh, it's la-ti-da, no big deal. Like, X, Y, and Z is going to go away for you, but like, please still be my friend. Like, I'm not doing that anymore.
No.
And it's annoying that the show that has so many viewers, like, and that like our podcast, we have 1,600 followers on Instagram. We can get 1 million views because of this show.
Right. And it's about this issue.
Yeah.
And it's, I mean, everything we need to know about the harm it's doing is in those comments
100%.
on that post. Like, we have seen it. This is America, everybody. Mm-hmm. And it is like, it's mind-boggling. And it's really, frankly, like upsetting to watch.
Yeah.
Like, this Sarah and Ben situation is just, and they're just like, they're in such la la land, both of them. And like Ben sitting there being like, oh, like I'm confident we'll be able to talk through these things and we'll be fine. And 10 years from now, we'll look back and be like, we made the right decision. And like, I don't know, like it's kind of wild though. Like if I do think Sarah's going to say no, but she's also up at the altar saying like, we're going to kiss.
Yeah.
Like implying that they will be getting married and kissing at the end of it. So it is a little up in the air.
It is up in the air. It's also like she was so excited getting ready. So it's like, when did you make the decision? And that's always the question on Love is Blind. It's like, when did you make the decision to say no? Because for her, it's like, what is it really about if you didn't say no? Like, and or if you said no in that moment. And I think if I'm her sister, I'm like really upset that it even got this close, because what do they like about each other? And it's a lot of talking about, we have so much fun together. We have X, Y, and Z in common.
I feel so loved.
I don't see that at all. I don't see any sexual attraction between them. So I'm just kind of like,
she likes that he gets the blanket for her and puts it around her. That to her is love, which is like, Sarah, there's a lot more out there for you. Like there really is. And like, I'm looking forward to when you find it. Like, I just want to like commend her sister and her sister-in-law for being so supportive in that like dressing suite. Yeah. Like in another scenario with other people, like they could have been like pretty mean about it. Yeah. You know, because it's not just an assault on their beliefs. It's like an assault on who they are. Yeah. Really. Like there's very direct information about how this church feels about these people. Sarah hinted at them saying that conversion therapy was the way that they think it should be. That you can like give a kid who's worried about their weight ways to work on it. Being gay is something you can work on. Yeah. Like that's so bad. And like literally this is a mega church. Yeah. Like this is a mega church. And from what I know about mega churches and the rise of them and like evangelical thought in this country, like it's the most conservative of conservative Christian values that is out there.
Yeah. It's the religion that's in charge of our country right now. Like pseudo, I make, the Bible bend to whatever suits me. And this like prophecy not this prophecy, but like all of the stories that they're talking about are like wealth. And if you have wealth, you've done something right. And wealth is a reflection of a life well lived. And that's just like so. Oh. Yeah. And like, again, it's like, I was raised Catholic. So people are probably like, oh, what do you do? I just feel like that was not the messaging that I grew up with. And that's not the messaging that's like in this Bible and this text at all. So it's just kind of like Maddie Pruitt's husband being a billionaire and her being like, is it cocky to say I know I'm going to heaven? It's like, with this
did she say that?
Yeah, she did on her podcast. I got a clip of it on TikTok. It was insane.
Oh my God. It just gets worse with her.
Just gets worse. Brain rot. Just gets worse.
Like have fun in whatever heaven you're going to, Maddie.
Yes.
Because I do not want to be there.
I won't see you there, babe. I just feel like it's similar here where it's like, well, it makes me feel good. It's all this positive messaging. And then it's like, if it fits you, like if you fit into the
straight
boxes.
White male.
Yeah.
Yes. The way that he was like, well, I think the church just doesn't talk about it very much because they like don't want to upset anyone. And it's like, what the fuck? Like, Sarah, are you listening to this?
Sarah, ding, 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 ding. They don't want to upset people with how they feel about it. So they don't talk about it. AKA,
so they don't talk about
Ben is doing.
Exactly. Like he is following suit. He's taking cues from this organization, this business that is preying upon people, marginalized groups of people. Like, I'm sorry. It's not okay. And it's just, if she says yes, like, I really hope that I really hope she doesn't say yes.
Yeah. I mean, if she says,
really hope.
If she says yes, she follows suit with like so many other white women in this country that like,
yeah,
it is unfortunate that it falls on women to coach their partners, mostly male partners, about how to be a good person and how to like engage with the world in a way that isn't as destructive as they were taught.
Right.
I didn't have to do that. That's why, we're married. I was never be with somebody that I would have to teach to be a good person. Oh, speaking of, he needs to get changed, so I'll turn the camera.
Okay. Hi, Ethan.
So I think that is what she thinks that she's going to be able to do, is that she'll be another person who can like teach them to be a good person. But what really ends up happening is you end up living with somebody who's like, oh, babe, can we talk about this another time? You're really nagging me about this. You're really harsh on me. And you just get eroded down and down and down.
Yeah.
And it's
already starting.
It's already starting.
Like Ben was like, I'm just so tired today.
Yeah.
I just like, I can't really go there. Like I know we're supposed to, but like, I just can't. And I was like, this is a fucking window into your future, Sarah. Anytime something you want to discuss comes up, a big topic, conflict, which will inevitably come up in your marriage, Ben's going to be too tired to talk about it.
You've been together for a month and he's already too tired to talk about this stuff with you. Like, it's just going to get worse.
Yeah. And it's, you know what else was wild to me was like in the pre-wedding thing where he's like hanging out with his friends. He's like worried about the social media stuff.
I know.
And it's like Sarah has not brought that up, at least from what we can see, at all.
No.
She doesn't care about that.
He doesn't think the social issues are a big deal anymore because he thinks he can just like talk her out of them.
Yeah, he thinks it's like done and dusted. We've taken care of that.
But he's like worried he's going to get caught.
I know, which is like if she like I can't like Sarah watching that now must be like I don't know. So apparently did you say she reposted or she liked?
She liked. So Indra had a meme that she posted that we posted that was about let me get to it. Sorry, just there's so many DMs.
So many DMs. People love us.
It was the post about Virginia and Sarah and how it was hard to watch both of them just try to be okay with the fact that their partners didn't want to engage in politics and didn't give a shit about other things. Yeah. She hearted it. And up until that point, she ignored all of the ones that we tagged her in. So that one, I feel like we'll see. And
that's telling. That's kind of telling. What it could mean a lot of things. It could mean she says no, and they haven't been together. It could mean she said yes, but during the airing of the season and seeing how awful it is, they've broken up, which would be really juicy.
That would be very juicy.
I don't want that to come to pass because I think
I really
a lot of
would
people
like
will be hurt.
I really would like for her to say no.
Right.
If I'm her sister, I still kind of want like an apology, but maybe I can forgive you for getting like, wrapped up in this whirlwind, like falling in love really quickly and having your blinders on a little bit.
I think her sister is probably used to giving people passes all the time.
Yeah.
And so she's probably not even expecting an apology. By the way Sarah's stepdad walks into that room and says, I didn't even recognize you because you look good. Did you catch that?
No.
He said that to her sister.
I think he was just teasing her.
No, I know it was teasing and she took it that way, but I think he meant it. And I think that's mean to say to a lesbian. Like, I do think it's mean to say that to a woman who's not straight and who does not dress like a pretty girl all the time.
True.
That's how I read it. I was not cool with it.
I liked him. I just feel like I didn't really read too much into that. I feel like that's how like my family like teases each other a little bit. Like,
okay.
I'll never forget. I got my makeup done for prom for like the first time.
Right.
And spent all day getting ready, and right before I leave, my dad goes, you look better without makeup, have fun. And it's like just sends me off with this like careless.
But that's like a nice thing to say to
Is
you.
it? I was about to leave for my prom. I already had makeup on.
But he's saying that like you're beautiful. What he was saying was like you look good because you actually like have makeup on and are dressed up. Otherwise, you look like shit. Like, basically, he was saying de facto, you look like shit.
That's true. That's true.
So, I don't know. I reacted badly to that. Maybe I shouldn't have taken it.
No, I mean, I think that's a valid point. I didn't even think about it. I was just like, oh, that's so funny. They're teasing. I was just happy to see like a little personality, I think. Like, I was like, oh, here's somebody with a sense of humor for one fucking second on this.
For one fucking second. I know. Anyway, I'm glad we will find out like at the start of the finale what's going on.
It'll probably be like another 15 minutes of her like,
Yeah. I mean, the look on her face right before she's about to answer is not a joyous look, let's say. And the footage they caught of her and Ben at the mega church with his friend asleep on the side. No, she wasn't falling asleep. She was so uncomfortable. Yeah. The way she was like shifting around and like unable to like just be normal was like, she was like, I don't like this. This vibe is not right. And it's like, you got to listen to that. It's like in your body.
I thought she was going to call it right after that. Because I was
Me too.
I just don't see how this is something so important to him. This is where he spends an hour a week. At least.
Right.
He gets most of his messages from this guy.
A lot of his friends are a part of this community.
So I just thought either he was going to say like, hey, you were super uncomfortable and checked out during that. Like, that's important to me. If you can't get on board with this, whatever, it's over. Or she was going to say like, I did not like that. What the fuck? And instead it was this bullshit of like, and I still love you more every single day. It's like, that's not impressive after 3 weeks. To still love each other more every day.
Also, I'd like to say, what happened to that group of quote unquote diverse friends that Ben introduced Sarah to from the beginning? We have not seen any of those people and anything else. Like, they're clearly not very close friends.
No, just gone.
And it's a little like, I saw memes when that episode came out from other accounts that were like, way to like bring out the diverse friend group to like show you can hang with it, you know. And I was like, oh, maybe they're just being a little harsh because like they actually are friends. And I'm like, no, they're not actually.
They weren't
friends.
at the wedding.
No, which is like, what? If they're going to be filmed earlier in the season, you're not going to invite them to the wedding. That's a little crazy.
Very weird.
To me. Very weird. And he had like 6 friends in the Bachelor suite with him. So what gives? I don't know.
Speaking of Bachelor suite.
Yeah.
Again, for the second year in a row, the boys get to do some super cool sports related event. And the girls are just kind of given a costume and some rinky dink activity. Like,
also like, doing the most to reinforce stereotypical gender roles.
Yeah.
The men literally go to a football date.
Yeah.
And the women go to a fucking mall.
They go to the mall dressed as old ladies. The men get to play at the Vikings practice field. All these games arranged by the team. And the girls walk around the Mall of America dressed like old ladies.
Yeah. Like, it's just... I was just like, okay. I've gotten to the point now with this show, like we're in season 8, where they're like certain parts of it that I just don't care for anymore.
Yeah.
And one includes the dress fitting snooze fest every time, at least for me. Mm-hmm. And 2 involves these bachelor and bachelorette parties.
Yeah. I appreciated that the dresses were like 1 or 2 dresses each, as opposed to like sometimes we see them try on like multiple or they drag it out with 2.
Right.
And the dresses have gotten a lot better. This was the best the dresses have looked by like a lot. They did not look as cheap as last year.
Except for the one that Virginia had on.
Yeah.
I'm sorry. She's such a beautiful woman.
She's so beautiful.
And that dress was trash. It was trash.
I don't remember what it looked like.
The dress is trash.
I don't remember what it looked like.
Okay, go back and look at it. It looks like it has glitter on it.
Oh, I know which one. Yeah, I did not like that one.
Yeah, it made her look bad.
Yeah.
Which is like, she's a beautiful woman. Once again, like she probably could have put on any dress in that store and looked amazing, but that dress did not make her look good.
It wasn't the one.
It wasn't the one. So anyway, whatever. Anyway, it's just like, I don't know. I feel like it's not just the dress fitting itself. It's like that whole period is sort of a throwaway in terms of like what gets discussed. It's just, parents or friends saying, oh, you look so good. You look so beautiful. I'm so happy for you.
Yeah.
Some people cry. And I'm just like, can we move? Let's get this show on the road.
Fast forward, keep going. Yeah, nothing dramatic ever happens during it. It's like,
right.
I need to have that moment like in Sex and the City where Carrie Bradshaw puts on a wedding dress for the first time and she breaks out in hives and it's like,
yes,
I can't do it. I can't do it. Like, I need that kind of moment. All of these girls are just like, whoa, I look so pretty. And it's like, you do.
Right.
But also, a lot of you should not be getting married.
No, yeah. Okay, so have we talked about everything with Ben and Sarah? I feel like we
Yeah,
have.
I think we've done that enough.
Is there more to say about Dave and Lauren other than like
I mean, Dave is
we have
clearly
to talk
using
about the Molly stuff too.
Yeah, Dave is clearly using his sister as an excuse. Like I don't even feel like Dave told his family that he got engaged. Like I think that he was just riding it out and
someone commented, did you see this? Like I don't remember where it was, if it was in a repost or a story or something. Someone was like my theory is that like Dave's sister does not even exist.
Yeah. There's no sister. It's just Dave being like, "Oh yeah, my sister says."
Yeah, my sister is like blah blah blah, blah. And it's just like, I mean, everyone is saying it now. Like, go marry your sister. That's clearly what you want.
He's like, I'm a grown up. Like, no one's gonna tell me what to do. But I did promise my sister I wouldn't get engaged. It's like,
oh my. Also, so many of these men are they're so immature.
They are.
Like, they need approval from like someone like Devin not being able to sign the prenup until his mom said it was okay, which we'll get to. Like, just another example of this like deep immaturity in some of these men.
Yeah, like Ben believing that you can be fiscally conservative and socially liberal in this climate. That's a fantasy. Dave being like
a fantasy.
Yeah. Dave being like, my sister doesn't tell me what to do, but she said I could only go to the pods if I didn't leave with a wife. It's like, then you're admitting that you only wanted to go to the pods to go on TV. Like,
right. Like literally, Dave.
So you're admitting that you never went in with the intention of getting engaged because you didn't have your sister's permission. And then you want to give Lauren shit that her dad doesn't want to appear on the show, but your family doesn't even want to meet her off camera.
Yeah, and again, I'm like, Lauren, how are you still here? Like, why are you not breaking up with Dave?
I don't get it. I was like, it's sad. It's hard to watch.
It's really hard to watch. She was just holding on for dear life. And I'm like, I don't know. Like, maybe he's like insanely hot in person or something. I just don't know.
I don't know. Molly being like, oh, did it break the spell when you went on his No, she's like, I went home and I looked at his selfies and I was like, oh, I'm not sad about this anymore.
I'm good. So Netflix is doing the most to try and fool us with these like trailers for the following episodes. Like literally drama free. Molly showing up for Lauren and them like bonding over how terrible Dave was very enjoyable to watch. And Molly ripping Dave a new one. I mean, not totally, but just kind of saying how it is to him in that conversation with him. There was not an ounce of, are we going to get together in that conversation?
No, it was like, I actually think you're gross because of how I watched you treat another woman and
grow up.
And it was never about this other guy. And she's like, oh, I guess Dave has never had sex before. Dave's a virgin. That explains everything. It's like, it's so funny.
Right. It was so great. Also, like, I made a meme about this, but I need to just say it on the podcast. Like, Dave literally, after breaking up with Lauren, is talking outside and says, like, it's totally normal to have hooked up with someone before coming on this show. When literally, that's the main issue. He's saying that he can't see it through with Lauren.
Yep.
And it's like, dude, are you this stupid?
Yes.
Like, if you're going to actually just try to be here to be on TV, like, get your stories fucking straight.
Figure it out.
Which is it, bro? Like, him and Ben, just like, mess.
They're
total mess.
They're just a mess. Oh, I had a theory about the party.
Okay.
So as we talked about last week, there's been some assault allegations against Alex. I think initially the blow up between Madison, Alex, Mason, and Meg was much bigger, but Netflix edited Alex out.
Yeah, they clearly did not want to show him very much, and what they did show was in a negative light.
Yep.
Like, they showed Madison kind of complaining about him, calling him a liar and stuff, because Netflix knows that's where the wind's blowing right now with Alex, as it should be. I mean, allegations of being a sexual predator with underage girls is pretty bad.
Pretty bad.
Like, maybe even worse than having a secret family.
I feel like they're.
It's like, are they too different?
Yeah, they're
apples and oranges a little bit.
One is like assault, and one is just like being a horrible partner in person. So it's just like they're both really, really bad people.
Yes.
Yeah, I mean,
Netflix, how do you find these men? Like, honestly.
I don't know. I've never met someone with a secret family in my entire life. And
no, it's fucking crazy. Yeah, I do think there was probably more to that. And like, we probably maybe would have seen more of Megan, Mason, and Madison.
Mm-hmm.
I just love how much Madison just has to make sure everyone knows how hot she is.
It's like, yeah, he saw me and he was like, "You're so beautiful. I can't believe how beautiful you are." And I'm like, I know.
It's like she had to keep that as a part of the story when it really wasn't about that. It was just like about how she was rejecting him.
Yep.
I'm glad she did. Like, I'm glad they didn't make it work or whatever. Like, Alex, like, I liked him in the beginning of the season, and
good riddance.
Boy, was I wrong.
Bachelorette posted the reunion looks. I wonder if he's even in them.
He for sure is there. I saw them. They're actually on the Love is Blind page.
Oh, yeah. He's going, I guess.
Everyone looks... Some people I did not recognize.
The plastic surgery is so real.
Like, let's see. Who looks really different to me? Like, Sarah looks like a different person to me.
She looks so different.
Taylor kind of looks the same. Monica, she just has so much makeup on. Madison looks completely different. Everyone else kind of looks the same.
Yeah.
But this happened last time.
Yeah.
Like the last season, I remember when they dropped the reunion looks too. I was like, whoa, what's going on here?
A lot of it looks like, to me, the level of glam is much higher than what they did on the show. So I think that that's like the major
that changes
contribution there. And weight loss. I think people watch themselves on TV and just automatically start to
get on
lose weight.
Can
relate, but
yeah, totally.
But,
I mean, like, it happens every single time.
Every time.
So,
like, I'm
can't
watching.
really blame people for it.
I'm watching Real Housewives of Salt Lake City for the first time.
Oh yes.
And first of all, the level of plastic surgery on that show, I could write 20 essays about. It is unreal. And I was like, well, they can't get more. And then the next season they show up with more. And I'm just like, this is fascinating.
Oh yeah. I mean, it's all the franchises. I think Beverly Hills is the most.
There's too much lore there for me to get in. I had to start with like one of the newer girls, you know, so I could like do the whole thing.
Fair. I do think that the early seasons of Beverly Hills are pure gold, though. I will say, if you ever have just run out of everything,
not with the way Netflix is cranking.
Like, we will never run out of anything. Okay, so who else do we need to talk about?
Devin and Virginia.
Right.
Guys, what did we talk about in the pods if we didn't talk about finances, prenup,
abortion
rights, who we voted for, who our families voted for? What did we talk about?
And that was the sense I got in the pods, is that they did not talk about much. Like, it was vibes.
Yep.
It was all vibes for them.
Yep.
It was for a lot of these couples, I think.
This one was...
And, yeah.
When they're just laying in bed and they're like,
God.
Anything we want to talk about? No, I'm good. They're so bored of each other already. I just am like...
I know. And I mean, Virginia's like, so are we going to vote the same when we get into the booth? Like,
no.
We're in alignment, right? And Devin was totally Ben energy. Like,
yeah,
I just haven't really thought about it.
I try not to get engaged. I think the conversation about abortion is for both people to decide.
Oh, yeah. Like, and I was like, Virginia, run.
Yeah.
Devin is just not ready. He's not at the same level that you're at in so many ways.
He just looked younger and younger as the episodes went on. Like, when they're on their final date and he presents her with a basketball as the gift, he looked like a little child on Mother's Day, like gifting a basketball. And she was like, oh,
it did give that energy.
Thank you.
Did.
I love it. She doesn't like sports. Why did you give her a basketball and a jersey?
No, and it was like, here are things I like.
Yeah.
And like, when I saw like team, what's his name? Buckley. I was like, oh, she's going to take your name?
Yeah.
Like, She's so on a, like, it's just, and then the prenup thing, like, he literally was like, I talked to my family attorney and my mom. And my mom's okay with this, so I'm okay with it.
She sat him down with the document. Virginia sat him down with the document and said, it's just basically to say that we each leave with what we came with and we split shared property.
Right.
He goes,
standard.
I talked to my mom and she says it's basically that we just both leave with what we came with and we split shared property. There are times where, like, I will tell Ethan something.
Yeah.
And he will, like, hear it from a friend and reiterate it back to me, and I'll be like, I said that. The most annoying thing I've ever that you could ever do to me. This would drive me up a wall to be like, I literally explained this document that I drew up for us.
I know.
And you're explaining it to me?
Exactly. And the look on Virginia's face was kind of like, yeah, great. I'm glad you're signing it. Like, I think she was just kind of like, okay. And, like, I don't remember, has she said anything about her previous dating experience? Or she said she hasn't, like.
It's been a while.
So, like, I don't know. It's another level of just, like, putting up with substandard men.
I feel like Virginia is almost like playing like tug of war with him, where she's like, and we're going to say yes. Like, she's almost like wanting him to be like, no, I'm not sure. Like, she's like, are we doing this? You're signing this? You're okay with this? Like, she keeps like, and because she doesn't want to break up with him, but like, I don't think she's going to say yes to him either. I feel like she is smart.
I'm worried she's going to say yes.
I don't know. I just feel like she was sweet to him about the basketball, but if she like really spent some time alone, she'd be like, oh, this guy only cares about his own interests.
Yeah. Like,
even when he was like, are you coming to my basketball game? And she's like, well, I have to see about work.
Yeah.
It's like the child's basketball game is at like 4 p.m.
Right. Like, it's just, it's very like, the differences in their maturity are so stark.
It's really weird.
Across many different levels and situations. And we've now seen it kind of all laid bare. It's just like, this is not a match. And like, you know what? Thank God he signed that prenup. Because if they do say yes, she's, you know, going to have all of the things that she's worked very hard for.
Yeah.
You know, she gets to keep all of that, which is great. And yeah, like, she has big dreams. She wants a champagne room in her house.
And she should be with someone who can help her get there. And
right. She should be with someone who shares those goals. Well, I don't know. Yeah. Who can like support her in that.
Yeah.
I feel like Devin is just like, wait, what?
Yeah. Even in just like their appearances, like she's so put together.
Right.
And he's just kind of like a little kid in, you know, even in the way he dresses. It's just like, I don't know. I just, again, no sexual energy between any of these couples.
None.
And she's such a mature, beautiful woman that she's like literally with like a boy. It's just so good. It's such a mismatch.
I think they're both good people.
Yeah.
I think Devin is a good person.
100%.
I think he's trying. I think he is totally still entrenched in his family of origin in a way that he's not going to be able to really commit to someone fully until he breaks that. And he's not even close to being there yet.
No.
He needs permission. He basically believes what his family believes when it comes to like faith and political beliefs.
Yeah.
Like, he essentially said that, like, you know, my family votes conservative and like, so maybe I do too. Like, what? You can have an opinion, Devin.
Yeah, buddy.
It's okay.
I stopped voting with my parents the first time I could vote. Like, I don't like.
Right. Yeah.
You have to explore what you actually believe, because it's almost like.
Right.
You want to vote in alignment with the person that you're married to.
Right.
But in this case, I'm Virginia. I'm like, well, don't just vote because I did. Like, you know, come up with your own vote.
Yes.
And hopefully we agree. But just because I'm voting this way doesn't mean that should be why you're doing it. Like,
exactly. And I mean, I appreciated that she like brought it up. You know, like, she brought up some topics. She had to pull it out of Devin, but she brought up the hard stuff.
Yeah.
You know, at least at some point, like in a better way than I would argue Sarah did.
Yeah.
It should have been discussed in the pod.
100%.
Like 100% views on these very important issues. It does inform a lot of how you're going to live life together and raise children, especially together. Like values wise, I do think that's important.
Yeah,
so,
I agree.
Like, especially if you're given the opportunity to like have the same values. Okay.
And that's like what this whole show is supposed to be, right? Like they're supposed to figure out what their values are and see if they align on them. And I'm like,
right.
Why did no one do that?
Like who is it? Your cousin, your friend who's from there?
Yeah, my friend.
They're all just tiptoeing around it.
Yeah, it's true.
You know, I'm also wondering if like everyone's a little bit seasonal affective depressed. Because this is all happening in January and February.
In Minnesota. Like it is true. We were like, I was laughing because March 18th is my sister's birthday. Oh. And I'm like, oh my God, Sarah, their wedding date is your birthday. Like, and it was a Monday last year. Like,
right. Like it's definitely like there is that element of it. I think about that when it comes to this like group of people. Even if you're used to it, like it's hard not to get down in the dark days of winter.
Listen, the winter uglies are hitting me hard this year.
Right. Same. So like that's a whole thing. Oh, we have to talk about Joey and Monica. So this was sort of surprising to me, actually, this like final date that they have and listening to Monica talk about it. Like it basically sounds like Joey has like not really affirmed that he's even in love with her recently.
Yeah. And I think we kind of were seeing that. Like
right.
I think that they're just really good friends. Like I think that we've seen that they're best friends, but the physical intimacy of just like he reaches out and grabs her hand, he hugs her in public, and
he doesn't have to do those things either. You know, like that is a difference in love language. Mm-hmm. Doing that with other people that he feels strongly about, then that's an issue. But it's just sort of unclear to me what's going on with that specific part of it.
It seems like she asked him to because it's important to her.
Right.
And when they're home, he was being a little bit more like physical with her, like hugging her and stuff.
Yeah.
But yeah, I think that he's just not that into her. Like I think he does love her, but I don't think that they're really that into each other beyond friendship. And I don't know.
Yeah. I think that he respects her. Mm-hmm. He thinks that she's a good person, that she's intelligent, and I think she has a lot of qualities that he appreciates. But yeah, it's just like the vibe is not right for them.
No.
In a like sexual, romantic, long-term partnership type of way. Yeah, it's very clear that that's kind of where it's going, I think.
Yeah.
Like Monica will say yes. Or maybe she'll say no. Maybe she's realized it's not enough for her.
I feel like Monica might be leaning towards a no. Like I think
I hope so.
I think they actually both will say no. Like I think whoever gets asked first will be the first person to say no, and the other person was going to anyway.
Right.
But yeah, I think Taylor and Daniel will be our only marriage. There's nothing to talk about with them.
There's nothing to say. Those two are... I have to apologize to Taylor, even though I don't even think I said anything here, but I think I had a lot of assumptions about her maybe being in this for the wrong reasons. Yeah. And I totally take all of that back.
No, she's in love.
She's in love. She sees Daniel for the good person that he is. They're perfect.
Yeah, no, they're
each other.
like adorable together. And her mom it was so funny because my mom always calls boobs your girls.
You're right.
And she's always like, pull it up, the girls are out. And she said that to her during the wedding dress. She was like, the girls are out a little bit much. And I was like, my mom said that to me so much during wedding dress shopping. Like,
yes. Yeah. No, I appreciated that moment, actually. The other thing about Joey and Monica is the sister doing a total 180.
Yeah.
I mean, I think maybe like there was some conversation off screen.
Yeah.
Like, or that wasn't shown to us. I was like, hey, that was a lot.
Yeah.
I'm doing this. So like be supportive. And she rose to the occasion.
Yeah, I was happy that she did the photo shoot for them.
Yeah, that was nice. It was nice what she said about how like I can tell you two like each other because I don't need to tell you what to do.
Yeah.
That was sort of a sweet little kind of, I don't know, something that I wasn't
I mean, if she photographs a lot of couples, she can kind of feel energy between people. Right. But right now it does feel like they should not get married. Maybe they can date, but I think it's hard when you get up to the altar.
Yeah.
In a dress to undo it, and then
no. It's I mean, that's a really big commitment. It's a really huge decision.
Yeah.
And I think we do see people ultimately realize that and then make the right decision for themselves based on that. So, okay. So next week we'll cover the finale. Yes. Thank God.
And then we have a reunion to sit through, but that's okay.
Oh, yeah. Well, the reunion. So they're going to release the finale this week and then the reunion the following Friday, probably?
I think so. I think they're going to stretch it.
Okay. Yeah.
Which is good because we are trying to get to 2,000 followers by the end of the season. So
yes,
if you're not following us on Instagram, please do. We're up to 6.
It's a goal. It's a goal.
It's a goal of ours. And we put time into our memes and we're proud of them.
Oh, yes. I spend a lot of time on those memes.
Yeah. My phone is burning hot by the end of the episode. So please.
Okay, speaking of great Bachelor memes from Mary last night, I always say that the hometown episode is like a snooze fest.
It really was, I thought.
It was. There were moments, though, that kind of drew me in. Maybe because I still feel like I know nothing about these women and it was a chance to get to know them better.
Yeah. I feel that we're getting set up for a very heartbreaking finale. Here's my prediction.
Okay, prediction.
At the beginning of talking about the episode, but
no, we love it.
He and Litia are in love. I think that they really do love each other. This religion thing is going to be a very big deal.
Yeah.
She's going to make a big deal if they're not going to let her go first because the person who has an issue with having sex in the fantasy suite never gets a chance to tell the lead that they'll have a problem with it. Juliana's going to go first.
She's going to have sex with Grant.
She's going to have sex with Grant. Zoe's going to go. Not going to have sex with Grant. Probably going to get dumped. Because what the fuck is she still doing there? But
biggest surprise of the season,
honestly,
is Zoe making it to fantasy suites.
Insane.
At this point, I'm like, maybe she's the one.
Yeah, maybe she'll get married to him. I don't know. Maybe they're already married. Maybe she's pregnant. I don't know what's going on with those two.
Right.
And Litia's going to leave.
She's going to leave.
And he's going to get engaged to Juliana.
Yeah, I think you're right. I mean, this was the first time. Okay, we've seen contestants get angry about the sex thing before. Mm-hmm. Who comes to mind? That smarmy, disgusting man.
Oh, Luke.
Luke. And I don't know if we ever got there, but him and then who was it from Clayton's season? Susie. And now we've got Litia. But what Litia said to her mom, I think, was it I don't want him sleeping with other women and I'm not going to sleep with him.
Yeah.
It wasn't just he can only sleep with me. It was he can't sleep with anyone.
He can't have anybody. But it was
can't have any
surprising to hear her mom say, are you willing to be open-minded about this? Because it's almost like her mom knows that you're kind of backing yourself into a corner by saying that.
Right.
By making them say that they're not going to sleep with anybody before they can know that you need that from them was interesting to hear from a woman in conservative religion.
Right. I think, it's you're not going to get anywhere if you say that. But Litia seems pretty resolved about this.
Yeah.
So I think what you just said is totally the way it's going to go. I mean, they're totally into each other. Their connection is very strong.
Yeah.
And I really like Litia and I really like Grant and I like them together. But this is a huge hurdle. This really is a huge hurdle.
This is a big deal. That house in Wyoming is my dream house. But on top of it, the whole Mormon vibe of we're making dirty sodas and we're with our family all the time who's all Mormon. Even though they might be accepting, there comes that word again, of him as a non-Mormon person, eventually he's going to feel left out. There's no way not to feel left out when this is the center of your universe. As sweet as these people are, I have no doubt that they would love Grant, that they would if this is what Litia wants.
They seem very nice.
Grampy fucking stabbed me through the heart.
Grampy man. What a guy.
Talking about her dad and saying there was a lot to love. It was hard not to love him. There's a lot to love. Just
I know. And that's the glimmer of hope of they accepted Fijian man into this family and it's unclear. I'm gonna assume that he converted to Mormonism,
or maybe he was. I don't really know what the religion is there. And I know that they have these like missionaries that go to different countries. So I don't know if there already was like a movement to convert people there.
Right. So maybe he was on that path already.
Yeah, maybe. Or maybe, but it seems like Grampy is her mom's dad, obviously.
Yeah, yeah.
And he seems to be Mormon.
Yeah.
So I don't know. So it would give me a glimmer of hope. I just think
no. I mean, was it her dad or stepdad?
Yeah, but she calls him dad.
Who was basically just like his whole conversation with Grant is of how like Litia is made to make babies. Women are made to make babies. And she's in her early 30s now, and it's time to get going. Like, she knows it's time to go.
Yeah.
And all of her cousins and everyone has 4 or 5 kids now. Like, she's ready to go. Are you ready?
Yeah.
Like, I was like, Litia is more than just a baby maker.
Yeah. I also interpret that as like Litia was saying that he was like, Litia sees her friends and family.
Of course she's saying
Yeah, of course.
But I think it's less about maybe even their relationship than it is about a commentary on 100%. This religion in general that truly does see women as
baby
ways
machines.
To make children.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think like Grant released a song called Party Girls as the season came out. He's not engaged to a Mormon.
He's not engaged to a Mormon. He literally said, I have tattoos. I have earrings. I like to have a drink. I like to have fun.
Yeah.
It's like, that's harsh. If you think you can't have fun as a Mormon, like, that's harsh.
Yeah.
That's harsh, dude. But he said it.
He said it. And so I think that this is headed.
It's over.
It's over. And it's going to be really painful to watch. It's going to be like Rachel and Peter and
it's gonna be hard,
Hannah
like,
Brown,
because there's
Cameron.
real feelings.
Yeah, it's gonna be really hard, and it's gonna be hard for whoever he ends up with. Like,
to watch their connection.
Because I'm watching this and I'm like, her and Juliana are both the front runners, but like I just see something different with him and Litia.
They know each other a little better.
They do.
Yeah, that's part of it, but also there is like a je ne sais quoi with them.
Mm-hmm.
I mean. Also, like, not to get too far into commentary on religion, which I love to do. And anyone who, if you are worried about telling your potential partner about your religion, because she was worried about it, which is why she did not tell him until her second one-on-one with him. That says something.
Yeah.
About the religion itself.
Yeah.
And I'm just going to put that out there.
Yeah.
Like, if you're afraid because of what it says about certain values and ways of life, like, that's a little bit of a red flag to me.
Yeah.
So, like, I'm not here for Mormonism. I'm not going to pretend like I think it's a good thing. I don't think it's a good thing.
No, I definitely don't think it's a good thing. There is like something about Litia's aura though that I'm like, she has such an angelic aura where I'm like, are they onto something? Like,
they made this like angel on earth.
They made like truly a walking angel who like children are so comfortable with, who like old people are comfortable with, who just like walks through conflict gracefully, like who's like a beautiful crier. And I'm like, yeah, there's like something different about Litia. Is it Mormonism?
But does she like to have fun?
I don't know.
Maybe not. Because we haven't seen her be like really fun.
No, we haven't seen her be really fun.
Like Juliana's fun.
Juliana's very fun. It's almost like the opposite where it's like, I don't know much about Juliana besides she likes to have fun.
Right.
And she had this period in her life where she was sad. So.
Right. Which, like, I would love to have a little more information. Like, I understand it's a sensitive topic, but the only reason I would love to is I just feel like it would bring me closer to, like, just knowing her a little bit.
Yeah.
And I understand that she doesn't want to get into details or whatever. Like, I hope that she shares more about that with Grant in their fantasy suite when there's no cameras.
Yeah, I hope so too. Because if Grant pulls out that fucking wolf tattoo one more time, I'm just gonna be like,
Grant is a one-liner kind of guy. You know, like he has the things that he always brings up, that he always talks about, and I think that's okay. Like, one thing we saw him do a lot in this episode, which I just so appreciate, is him considering the other person every single time.
Yep.
Like, even when Dina delivers this pretty devastating news that he is literally not going to meet her parents or any of her 10 siblings.
She has 13 family members, and they all said no.
All said no, which to me is like control issues. Yep. The kids were told you are not going to, like, not, you're going to tell me not one of them was like, I would like to meet him. Like, it was an order. And like, I didn't realize also that she came from such a religious family.
Neither.
Did that come up before?
No.
So that was interesting too. But his first reaction was to make sure she was okay.
I know. And I think like Grant is getting some flack for not being a very good bachelor. I think he is a really good bachelor. I think the short season is just like really screwing him because he asks people questions. He's very considerate of their feelings. He reads the room really, really well.
He does.
He's very thoughtful in his decisions. He doesn't go out of his way to hurt people for the sake of his own journey. Like he is doing a really good job, and they just like screwed him by shortening the season by 2 weeks.
Yes.
And that time at the end really, really matters. And
it does.
Yeah.
Like those I feel like those episodes before Hometowns like really solidify a lot. And that's the part of the season they've cut the most.
Yeah.
Just needs an opportunity to, I mean, I return to, it is insane that Zoe is going to fantasy suites and she has not had a one-on-one time. Like her hometown was a fake one-on-one.
It's crazy.
They had to fit in something about her into her hometown because she didn't have any other dedicated time.
She didn't have a one-on-one.
And he's meeting her family.
Yeah.
Like, that's kind of crazy and fucked up, actually,
Yeah.
if you think about it. It's almost, like, disrespectful.
Yeah.
To, like, her and her family to be, like, pretending like this is a real thing. Like,
it's very bizarre.
It was already too little time.
Yeah.
And they've taken away even more. And it's like, I don't know. I've just been thinking about it this season. I'm like, is this model just too outdated now? Like, do they need to like really completely reframe The Bachelor, like the whole thing?
I think what you said last week about how they used to do it where it was short seasons like this, but there were like 15 girls.
Right.
They need to like go back to that and like maybe only do the show every other year and spend like a year and a half on casting and like personality tests. To find people who are like a good match for the person that's going to be the lead.
Right.
And then have only 15 girls there.
Right.
And have the season be, 7 weeks, but there's way less girls. So it's like,
everyone gets a fair shake.
Yeah.
Like, the people he really connects with, he actually has time to connect with.
Exactly.
Yeah, I mean, it's almost like they're like, oh, these people aren't interesting enough for us to give them more screen time. Almost.
It's like, well, that's a problem with casting. Like,
yeah, it's just, the formula, it's like, we've had these kind of seismic shifts in reality dating TV shows. And like, Love is like it's actually been very interesting juxtaposing watching a season of Love is Blind, which is arguably a pretty boring season of Love is Blind, with a season of The Bachelor, which is pretty similar to how it's always been. It is shorter. It's just the pacing and the area for drama and the level. Like Patrick was commenting on just how much we have gotten to know the couples on Love is Blind.
Yeah.
Compared to anyone on this season of The Bachelor.
Yeah.
It feels like we literally know nothing about anyone.
No, and it's bizarre because then we see Joey and I'm like, I know him so well. I knew his top 4 so well. And
Right.
It just wasn't the same. And it's not that like there were no big personalities or anything. These girls are all great and independent and very smart, and still it just feels like we don't know them and we don't know Grant all that well. And I think it's like, I don't know, it just is season and weird timing, and again they've set up their black lead for failure because they shortened the season and kept the cast huge, and if he's confused at the end, that's like really the show's fault in this situation.
Absolutely. I definitely do not blame Grant, and I think Grant is a good person. I really think he's like a good person.
Me too.
Which is rare.
So rare.
I guess we'll see what happens. I do think it just seems like Juliana has to be it. Like there's just no other options really.
Yeah, I think it has to be, and I think she does love Grant, and like
Right.
they queued up her family to be like such dicks to him. Like her
Oh my
dad was
God,
such
his
a sweetheart.
dad? What a softie.
I mean, it's
when he got up to give him a hug
Yeah.
after, like, I almost cried a little,
Yes.
actually. It was so adorable.
when Grant walks in and immediately goes, "What's up, boss?" and hugs the dad. I was like, well, Grant already won him over. Like, he already won.
I know. I mean, honestly, I could see it, like, with that family, just like everything kind of working a little bit.
I do think they're a good couple. Like, I think that it's like Juliana and Grant would be so perfect for each other if Litia wasn't there. It's like this whole
Right.
extra thing, and it's just going to be looming, and I think it's going to end up dooming what could have been a really good relationship.
Right. Well, isn't it so interesting to see this values conversation coming up again in another context?
Yeah.
And I mean, I guess we'll wait and see. Maybe Grant will surprise us and be like, surprise, I'm Mormon now. I'm with Litia and everything's good. Like,
I'm converting.
I don't think that's where we're heading.
No.
But it is like an interesting format in the season of The Bachelor where he's able to actually be like, no, like that isn't. Or like both of them are going to be able to be like, actually, our values really clash and we're not doing this.
Yeah, I think that.
Whereas in Love is Blind, for some reason, everyone's entertaining
They're
this
like,
possibility.
let's do it. It's like, and even on The Bachelor, it's like you get engaged, but then you get to date still. So it's like,
right.
Love is Blind. It's like, you guys are married now. Like, you are getting married, and they're acting like so flippant about their values. And
it's wild.
They're really going to talk about it on here. And like, it's like, seems like, Juliana is, if I had to guess, probably Catholic because.
Oh, yeah, because she's Italian.
She's Italian. And, she wears a cross, and the family's,
Yes.
Vague references to God like that. So it does fit better to be kind of like loosely Christian and spiritual with a Catholic person versus with a Mormon. Where it's so much more a lifestyle. Like
it's so, I mean, Mormon lifestyle, way of life is very different from any other faith-based community.
It's very strict. Like and it controls everything, and that's like who you're friends with. You send your kids to college based on that. They go on missions based on that. Like it's just it's such a different level of commitment versus like, oh, we're gonna eat cannolis and pizza, and like everyone in my family's here because I have 35 cousins. It's just very different.
And we're gonna go to church on Sundays sometimes. Like that type of deal. Like it's the same thing with like Ben's church and like whatever church Sarah's mom goes to in Love is Blind. Like clearly there's a lot of difference there.
Yeah.
So I just like, I don't even know what else there is to say. Like Dina's group of friends.
Dina her phone must have 100 text conversations going at a time. She has 11 siblings, parents, and then she has that many friends. I'm like, her phone must just blow up all day long.
Oh my God. And the way those women walked in with their blowouts and everything, I was like, whoa.
I was like, get it.
I could not tell most of them apart. I did note there was one Indian woman.
Yep. She had a vague accent from somewhere. Don't know what it was.
I was like, okay, I'm clocking that person, but everyone else I'm confused about. Like, yeah, it totally made sense for her to go home.
I could tell right away.
She's campaigning hard to be the next Bachelorette, though.
Yeah. I don't think it's going to happen for her.
No.
I think she'll do great on the beach.
She will be fantastic on the beach. I'm waiting for them to actually be like, we're having, maybe at the Women Tell All or the finale, they'll say we're having a Bachelor in Paradise season.
I hope so.
I hope they do.
Because the girls are going to start disappearing off of social media. So we'll see.
Right. And then we'll know who's cast. Zoe's hometown, like,
it was so weird.
It was weird, and like, I don't know. I have more and more sympathy for Zoe.
Me too.
I think she has a hard time connecting with people for probably like a lot of reasons, and we learn more about like her background, and we don't know what's going on with her adoptive parents and why she's estranged from them, but that's got to be difficult.
Yeah.
It just doesn't seem like she has a big community of like friends around her.
I don't think so. Like, and her sister, that hug felt like I was so worried about you. Like, and her aunt and uncle were so sweet to like step up for her. Sweet. I loved them. Like, they were so sweet. Adorable. They love Zoe so much. I feel like Grant is almost like, there's always like the third person that like gets brought along because the relationship is not that serious.
Right.
And I think Grant is doing that to her, not realizing like how invested Zoe is.
Yeah, she's going to be heartbroken.
She's going to be really heartbroken. And I don't know. I just felt like the bridal date was so weird and like.
It was so weird.
It was bizarre.
And like oddly timed. Like it was clear that would have been a version of their one-on-one had they had one early in the season, I think. So, yeah, again, we could have used an extra episode.
Yeah.
Like, we all would have watched it and enjoyed it.
Yeah.
Like, I'm not sure why they didn't do it. ABC, if you're listening, like, please don't do this again. Or if you're going to, like, fewer women, please.
Yep.
Fewer contestants.
Yep.
It's just too rushed. It was the same with Jen's season.
Yep.
What a dumpster fire. Like, anyway, I did not. Oh, is there anything else with The Bachelor that you want to talk about?
No, I think that's it. I think the hometown date went exactly as we expected. And
right.
I'm excited for Women Tell All. I'm not excited for Women Tell All. We'll have a short episode next week, I think.
I'm sort of like cautiously curious about Women Tell All. Usually, like, I just don't know.
Usually there's like many things to talk about and we only have to have Carolina to talk about.
Yeah, it's just going to be like dumping on Carolina.
Which will be hard to watch. Like I think both of us
right.
usually end up
I don't really want to see
kind
that.
of bad for the villain in quotes during that. And
yeah, it's just like it's not going to be pretty. And it is always interesting like who they bring up on stage though during those tell-alls because they're usually candidates for some other extra thing, including Bachelorette, including a lot of things. So we'll see what happens. Anything could happen. I had a very crazy week, so I actually haven't caught up on Traitors. And Mary informs me that the finale is this Thursday. Yeah. So I think I am going to save the last 2 episodes for a doubleheader on Thursday night.
You should, because the cliffhanger pissed me the fuck off. So like if you can avoid that, I think you'll be happy.
Okay.
Listeners, remember that last year my sisters and I went to a 90-second Y event with Alan Cumming. We got lots of inside tea on Traitors. This year, we're going again on Sunday, so after the finale airs. It will be a rewatch of the finale live with the winner or winners.
And Alan.
No, I don't think Alan.
Oh, so who's going to moderate it?
I don't know. I forget what the name is, but don't know who the winners are, or if it's just one winner. So it's a little nerve-wracking. We'll see. But I'll be back here to talk about it next week.
Oh my gosh, I'm so excited. I love that you go to these things. Like, I want sometime the stars will align and I will come to one of them with you.
Yes.
Because I would love to go. It just sounds like so much fun.
It's so much fun. The Love Island one was fucking crazy because the crowd was crazy.
That was bonkers.
But the Traitors one was crazy in like a really fun way where we were just watching the show and cheering and screaming. And so I'm really excited.
I also just like have to say that I'm so annoyed that Andy Cohen gets to do these reunions.
I
for
know.
Traitors. Like, I despise Andy Cohen. I really do. I think he is one of the most toxic men on earth.
Ethan always calls him a horn dog because he's always asking you about their sex lives. And I'm like, he doesn't want to hook up with most of these people he's talking to.
Yeah, no. Like, he's just like, he just thinks he's so great. And it really bothers me.
He does have like a pretty great life. So I think if I were him, I'd have a hard time also being like,
right.
I'd be like, look what I just think
made. He's been doing it for too long, and I think he's reached like such celebrity big status now that it's almost like let's pass the torch or something.
It's just kind of like, why isn't Alan hosting it?
Right. Like Alan would be an incredible host. It would bring the whole vibe still there. Like you plop Andy down there and he's just like cynical and mean.
Yeah.
And like not in a fun, campy way.
Yeah.
Like Alan would be cynical and mean, but in like a fun, campy way.
Yeah.
Andy's just cynical and mean in real life.
I think it just makes more sense with the Housewives and Summer House that it's Andy, but it's like Traitors is its own thing.
It's like, not Bravo.
It's a competition show. Like, didn't Ariana host the Love Island reunion?
Yes.
So
she did.
Why isn't Alan hosting?
I don't know. Maybe let's see how it goes. Like if he does a good job, okay.
Yeah.
But he'll do like a baseline okay job.
Yeah, it'll be
fine.
His
job.
It'll be fine.
But
yeah.
Anyway. Okay, so that means that next week we'll talk about the finale. So it'll be the finale of both Love is Blind and Traitors next week.
Yep.
Lots to discuss. Again, we have a goal now on social media. We want to get to 2,000.
Yeah.
So please follow us. Tell a friend to follow us.
Why not?
Find a meme you think that's funny and send it to a friend, and then maybe they'll follow us.
We would love it. Thank you.
We would love it.
Joey just DM'd us.
What did he say?
So,
Joey from Love is Blind.
First, he DM'd about the hat. And it was like Joey with his hat for some reason. He said, ha ha ha, I will have a post to explain the hat. I don't know what that means.
Okay.
And then he said about the one you did of him tubing, live footage of Joey's approach to living life. This meme is so spot on. It's hilarious. I'm extremely chill. LOL, maybe too chill for some.
Oh, okay. Not one part of me was surprised when he just like barreled down.
He just went for it. I was like, have fun. Like, that's the thing that's missing is like, have some fun.
Right. Totally. Have some fun.
Love him.
Okay. We love you all. Thank you so much for listening. We will be back next week.
Yay.
Yay. Cheers, lovers.
Thanks for listening to Can I Steal You for a Minute? Subscribe wherever you listen to podcasts. And if you like the show, please leave a rating and review. Follow us on social media at Can I Steal You for a Minute Pod and support the show through Patreon at patreon.com.